From UFOs to psychic powers and government conspiracies, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. A production of iHeartRadio.
Hello, welcome back to the show. My name is Matt.
My name is Noel.
They called me Ben. We're joined as always with our super producer, Dylan, the Tennessee Pal Fagan. Most importantly, you are here. That makes this the stuff they don't want you to know. No. It's our listener mail program. If you are joining us the evening this publishes, welcome to August 28th, 2025. August flew by. I can't believe it, guys. It's almost over. I'm going to miss it.
Yeah, finally. Let's get out of this joint. It's going to be nice and cool soon.
Yeah, fall is on the way.
Yeah, we already got our first fake out fall, which Atlanta is notorious for, but hopefully the next one sticks around.
Hope springs eternal, right? Mm-hmm. And we always end our program hoping that you will join the show, fellow conspiracy realist. And luckily, everyone follows through with this. We love it. If you just email us for a random fact, or if you give us a call with something on your mind, a lot of this will inspire episodes in the future. So we're going to hear about Cryptid Hunters. We got a real life update on Mango, the drug-busting parrot from earlier. But before we do any of that, let's say we pause for a word from our sponsors and kick it off with some voicemails.
Yeah, but first, lest we forget to dig up some rutabagas.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Food They Don't Want You to Nosh. Here's where it gets tasty. Can I take your order?
Yeah, can I get a greasy Noel burger with crinkle-cut spies and a large Yeti shake?
Yes, sir. How would you like your greasy Noel?
Can I get that Roswell done?
Sure thing. Anything else?
Do you all have any rutabagas today?
Sorry, sir. All out of rutabagas.
Ah, man. I guess it's time to dig them up.
Slow laugh. Wowzers.
How?
I love it.
You think he can't top it, and then he just raises the bar every time.
Yeah. How's he do it? We'll never know.
Greasy Noel, like grassy Noel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Roz, well done.
Oh, yeah.
We're off to a phenomenal start.
Greasy Noel was so clever, it took me a minute. And it's like, that's how you know a joke is fantastic, when you have to sit with it for a second, then all of a sudden, aha, you know?
Oh, those crispy spies.
Love it.
All right. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. And we've returned. We are jumping to the phone lines immediately today, guys. We've got some great stuff. The first message is from our old pal, Chef Ben. For anybody else listening that isn't Chef Ben, I know we're getting a lot of Chef Ben, but congratulations to you, Chef Ben. You've been calling in a lot with some great stuff, including today's family story that's tangentially related to a discussion we had on the show. So let's listen to Chef Ben's story here.
Good morning, fellas. Chef Ben in Chicago. As always, feel free to use this on your show. You were talking about people losing the ability to do stuff analog because of cell phones and such, and you brought up Texas Instruments. My dad is a chemist. He worked for TI. So he was a chemist for Dow Chemical for years. And then he went and taught high school chemistry, and then he invented a thing in conjunction with TI that is essentially a chemistry lab diagnostic tool. So what it does, called the Lab Quest now, what it does is, rather than running an experiment and using a thermometer or a voltimeter or one of these other litmus paper, that kind of thing, and recording your results of the experiment, this device, which originally connected directly and physically to a TI-82 or a TI-83, had a series of probes on it that would take those measurements for you. So as a student, yes, you're still learning how to do the experiment, how to run the experiment, and what the pipettes and Erlenmeyer flasks and all of that kind of stuff, what those things are. You can still run an experiment. What the LabQuest does is it just records the data for you and gives you a lot more options. It streamlines. It gives you a lot more options for collating that data and stuff like that. Now, the joke always was, even before my dad developed this technology with TI, and then with the company who took it over and manufactured it and sort of moved it away from TI, and they have their own software now, whatever. The joke was that he was doing step one towards the Star Trek Triquarter. Ideally, you would have a completely probe-free device that would remotely take these sensor readings. We're not there yet. My dad's been working for this company with this device and these series of devices for 22 years now, I want to say. Not quite there yet. However, if/when we arrive at a position in our technological development where we have a Star Trek Triquarter, I want it recorded right now. My dad is the one who started that whole ball rolling. Thank you guys so much. It's good to have you in the car with me. Take care.
Awesome. I love that sign off. Good to be in your car, man.
Yeah. Thank you, Chef Ben, for that message, dude. Your dad invented a dang tricorder. What up? You don't get to say that very often. Come on, guys. Let's give it up. What should we call Chef Ben's dad? Father of Ben? Father of Chef?
The master chef. Senior chef. I don't know. Workshop.
Chef Ben Daddy. I like that. Let's go with that. Chef Ben Daddy, good job, buddy. He invented this thing called LabQuest. And you guys, I just put a link in the chat so we can look at it, the original one, and how it would actually connect up to one of these TI. Well, it's not this original one. It's very similar to this one because this is when the company Vernier, I suppose, purchased the technology from Texas Instruments. But very cool looking. It's just got an up, down, left, right, okay, back, menu, and probably initiate and whatever that other button is. Pretty simple stuff, but dang, it's cool. The idea that you could connect one device up to a bunch of other sensor devices and then get all that data, even as a student, right? Just in a classroom setting, makes me very, very happy. It also took me down a little bit of a tricorder thing, you guys. You can look up right now on the website, thewandcompany.com, their tricorder. And
This is a Star Trek thing?
This is a Star Trek thing. So
okay,
this is
just making sure for the non-initiated out there. I didn't know. I had to Google it real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry, everyone.
Good.
A tricorder is the thing that you would see in Star Trek, a device. It's a medical device, I suppose, that often the medical personnel, the person who is on the away team, right, going down to another planet or going over to another spaceship or something, they would pull this thing out and get sensor readings of every possible thing you could imagine, right? Are there oxygen levels here? Oh, is there radioactivity over there? Oh, what's wrong with that person? Oh, let's scan, their vital functions. We could do it all with our tricorder. But the one I just put in there is like the original one from the original Star Trek series, which is kind of fun. It looks almost like it would be what does that look like to you guys?
GPS, sort of like a handheld GPS kind of thing?
Well, that's what the next generation. Okay, now you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I thought it was the next generation folks who had the one that you're talking about.
Sorry, I was looking at the original link that you sent. This looks like a adding machine or something. I don't know exactly how to describe it. Like a weird old timey camera or something.
Yes. Yeah. It's got that leather case, it feels like,
strap.
But that's the way it was envisioned the first time around with Star Trek. And then by the time we got to the next generation, it's that kind of fold open looking thing. And sorry to talk about tricorder so much, y'all. Somebody is just either turning this off or rolling their eyes so hard. There's the other one that a company called Factory Entertainment created as like a toy tricorder. But it just shows you all the different things and readings you could get with it. And we've talked in the past about the kind of advanced technology that's been rumored that, ultra wealthy people have those beds, those med beds that could fix you, like the ones out of, what is that movie? I always forget. Up in, what is the name of the place where they lived? All the rich people and everybody's down there. I can't remember.
And yes, where Matt Damon's in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
The South African
That could just
dude
be
is
the
so
title.
awesome.
Yeah. It's it's going to kill me. It's from the guy who made District 9, right?
Yes. My head
Yeah.
keeps saying Eternium.
That's right.
You're so close.
If it's not that, it's damn close.
It's so
Matt.
very close. No, we're guys. We're stopping everything. It's Elysium.
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 What is that? Isn't Elysium like the Roman paradise, kind of, or that's the Elysian fields?
Oh yeah, I think so. Oh yeah, I know we've talked about all these things at length in previous episodes. Just pointing it out there to imagine that if you could design something like this at the time when Texas Instruments, who knows how many, probably several decades ago, was really getting that TI 82, 83 series off the ground, and then you develop something like this, just imagining what it could be like now, right? And one last link I'm putting in the chat, guys. This is the same company that now has taken over the LabQuest situation that Father of Chef Ben created. This is the LabQuest 3. It runs about $400. It now is a micro USB cable that I suppose you could plug into any old other computer or other machine. And then on the bottom of it, you can kind of see, I don't know exactly what they would call all of these inputs here, but it looks like inputs for 5 or more different devices that you'd be able to plug into that have sensors, right? Or something that's collecting information and then sending the information to this data collector.
It's pretty interesting the how far technology like this has come. I recently bought this like body scanner scale where it connects to an app on your phone and you stand on it and you hold this like sensor that's attached to like a retractable cable and you hold your arms out and then it does a full scan of like all of your water content, your bone density, the subcutaneous fat, visceral fat, like skeletal mass, lean mass, all this stuff. And it's pretty accurate from what I understand. And it's just, I don't know, I was just looking for some more metrics, but it's pretty neat. It's this company called Hume, but it was very affordable. It's just surprising how, these types of things that maybe in the past were relegated to science labs are much more, available to the consumer.
Noel, that is an awesome piece of equipment you've got there. I don't know enough about it, but that sounds amazing. Can we run a test at some point where the next time you go and get a physical or something, like get all that data and then test out what that thing is reading, like the day of, So you're like, okay, how accurate is this thing? Because that sounds incredible. Like,
yeah. And like I said, at the very least, it gives you some benchmarks, I mean, even if it's not like 100% accurate, but all the reviews are pretty good. And it does seem to compare with some of the really high end lab type results. So yeah, I will definitely do that and let you guys know.
That's stinking awesome. Last thing on the Tricorders, guys, on that factory entertainment tricorder, you can buy it for $800 plus shipping. Wow. Yeah.
That's the replica, right?
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's cool looking. It's got a screen and everything. I was actually thinking, how the original lightsaber was made from like an old camera flash bulb or housing for a camera flash? When I was looking at this, to your point, Matt, I was like, this looks familiar. Like it's made of some object that we're aware of. Apparently completely custom made, but some of the buttons on it were like from automotive type buttons that could be used. But it was custom built housing and, plastic sort of situation.
That's so neat. I love this stuff. I just want a real one, guys. I want to be Dr. Beverly Crusher. That's what I've always wanted to be. That's what I've always said.
I want a Pip-Boy if we're going to go for portable scanner devices. That's what I want. Super stoked about Fallout Season 2, by the way. They're finally heading to New Vegas in this one, y'all.
Oh, snap. That's exciting. Oh, my gosh. Well, guys, I had another message here from Phlounder I wanted to put out there, but I think we might save that for strange news, at least our discussion of it. Let's why don't we play the message from Phlounder, and then just everybody, you should be aware we're going to talk about what Phlounder is saying on the next strange news episode, because it's going to be like linked up with that directly. So here we go.
Gentlemen, this is Phlounder with a PH. I'm not sure if it was on your show or someone else, but someone once said that interesting news stories that people don't really want the public talking about are often released on a Friday afternoon. Well, Friday, August 22nd, this seemed to happen. The Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell transcript was released. And so that's my conspiracy number one. Conspiracy number two is I'm really having a game theory mind melt right now with her comments. It seems to me that she's denying everything, which calls into question whether everything actually is true. But the one that really caught me was Prince Andrew, stating that Prince Andrew definitely didn't do this stuff. It seems like Prince Andrew was one of them that it's a given what he was doing. So when she says Prince Andrew didn't do it, then I question the Clinton comment and the Trump comment and everything else. Anyways, feel free to use this on air if you like, but it's kind of long-winded. Anyways, thanks, guys. Appreciate what you do.
I think they all did it. Sorry. I don't believe a word any of these people say.
Well, that's the really tough thing here, right? Because we're theoretically going to her as someone who does know what happened, right? But the way that she was approached, the people that approached her and under the pretext and context that she was approached, how can you trust that what she's saying is real, is the actual thing? That's why you don't pay somebody to give you an interview, right? If you're a journalist or something, you don't pay anybody to give you an interview. That way you can trust that what they're saying is not going to be manipulated by a gift or by, being moved to a new facility or something that we talked about previously. Ben, I think you brought that up in chapter 2 of the Epstein update. This is all, related here. We were kind of waiting for this to come out and to see these transcripts and see if there was anything there. And it appears somebody at least wants us to know and believe that absolutely nothing happened. Nothing happened. I'm waving my hands at the camera to Jedi mind trick us all.
For sure. You did it. These are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah. Well, again, we're not going to go into the specifics of that transcript and what was said, maybe until later, perhaps next week. But we will get into it. Don't worry, we will. For now, we're going to say thank you, Chef Ben, Chef Ben's father, and Phlounder, and we'll be right back with more messages from you.
All right, and we've returned with a couple of fun messages from you. Yes, you. A couple of them, actually. Let's start with one from Danny. Hi, Matt, Noel, Ben. My name is Danny. So I used to work at this warehouse that sold these things called stove guards. A guard for your stove. Love a good descriptive name. Basically, to keep your stovetop clean. I need one of those. I'm just now remembering an order slip I had taken a picture of, and the address listed was for the Cryptid Hunters of North America. I had no idea such a place existed. And why are they ordering a stove guard? Why wouldn't they? It seems like a great device. Are they so busy hunting cryptids that they have a kitchen for breaks? Sure, why not? Every HQ needs a little break room. I'm attaching a photo of the order slip. Also, I don't want to dox Cryptid Hunters of North America, but yeah, I was eventually laid off from Stove Guard because, not surprisingly, not a lot of people are buying these things. Because, you can just clean your freaking stovetop. LOL. Anyway, I just wanted to share this with you because I thought it was funny. I collect a lot of funny names of roads and cities on these order slips, which I probably wasn't allowed to do. IDK. I love your show so much, and I also listen to Ridiculous History. Thank you so very much, Danny. Let's see. What's a cursory Google of Cryptid Hunters of North America yield? Let's see. Okay, they do have a Facebook. They are an LLC, apparently. Don't have a .com, it would appear.
I found a member on X that goes by Frosty Dragon, but the screen name, according to the search here, is Horny Frosty SMH.
Okay, and their Facebook page is not available right now. Please excuse our progress. Got the little guy with the wrench. So it does not appear that Cryptid Hunters of North America is particularly active. But it's good. I don't know. I just thought it was a silly, funny email to read. So thank you for that. I will move on to a slightly more serious topic, but also with some lightheartedness to it. This one comes from His Holy Hams. He demands it, apparently. That's how the email concludes. So let's jump right in. This is regarding the hype around the asteroid that will arrive in November. 3I Atlas and how this is drastically affecting the fringe communities, the TikTok conspiracy theorists.
I want to stop you right there.
Go right on ahead,
sir.
buddy.
It is either a comet or an alien spaceship. Okay, those are the only two options.
Okay, all right.
joking.
I see you feel very strongly about this, Matty, and I respect that. In fact, I love it. I love the passion. One set is concerned that it is filled with aliens on their way to harvest the monatomic gold. Monatomic gold. Monatomic, that's the word, gold, inside each human. Didn't know about that. I am convinced this is slang for semen. Okay? That is our precious bodily fluids, if anyone has seen Dr. Strangelove. But hey, this only got worse when the asteroid vented water, letting us know that not only were they aliens, but they were squid-based aliens who intend to rescue their squid brethren from the ocean and make illithid-like hybrids when they arrive. In other words, this is as far as I got in the game, by the way, and it's badass. The opening to Baldur's Gate 3 is now a documentary. The little eye worms. Did you play Baldur's Gate 3, guys?
No, I did not. But Ben, you've played it several times.
Yeah, it's a replayable game, and if you don't have to know Dungeons and Dragons or be very experienced with it to have a blast, but if you do, there are a ton of Easter eggs there. So yeah, very, very much worth it. It's a game that you can do a million things in.
I started it, got through the first cutscene they're talking about here, which is where this like Lovecraftian kind of squid, Cthulhu-esque demon deploys these like little eye worms into our heroes or our protagonists. I don't know. I think I need to play it on PC or on a bigger screen because it does get a little small. It's like top down and the text is kind of small and I was having a little hard time following, but I'm really excited to give it another shot. It's come highly recommended. Also, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 kind of pulled me away. So time to give it another go.
I do have to give a PSA to all our fellow conspiracy realist gamers in the crowd, especially if you game with your family and your kiddos and your loved ones. Please be aware Baldur's Gate 3 is a phenomenal game. It is also an extremely horny game.
Yes, I've heard.
It is super duper horny. Like you're hearing me now, folks. But it goes past what I sound like I'm saying.
Believe this man when he says the game
horny.
is beyond horny.
Now we know why you played it so much, Ben.
Just to try to feel something,
Fair. Horniness is a feeling. That counts. His Holy Hams continues. On the opposite side, there is a cabal. I love how His Holy Hams just expresses all this as fact. But I appreciate the wording. I think it's fun. On the opposite side, there is a cabal of believers who state that this can't be aliens because space is indeed water and nothing can survive in the depths of the star ocean. Do y'all know about the Star Ocean? Is this a new fringe?
It's another game series.
It'd be a great one. Yeah,
it feels like
it is.
Really
poetic,
is Star. Oh,
yeah.
It is. Okay,
It's RPG, right? Also, just the phrase sounds like a poetic license. Like referring to deep space as the ink.
100%, or like sailing, through outer space. The idea, or like, what is it? Solar sails and all of that kind of stuff. What's Star Ocean, the game, Matt? I don't know about this one. Is this old?
Yeah, I want to say it's a JRPG that's been around for a long time.
Well, it's a great name.
Made several of them. Check it out.
Going on, they believe these would be demons and devils trying to break open the firmament in the same way that Venus and Mercury are also maliciously trying to do so because they are fallen angels and planets aren't real. Okay. Nope. Moving on. I wish I were making this up. It sounds like a great sci-fi fantasy novel series. Boy, does it ever. My question after all of this is, where did we go wrong? Clearly, this is a reflection of the nature of our social media world, where all opinions are truth and valid if you are trying to interject reality. You are merely conspiring against the naked God who sits upon the firmament with his holy hams pressed against the glass in love, which is why they call it the moon. This is some satirical right here. It's got to be. I love the wording. I love the turn of phrase and the idea of his holy hams pressed against the glass being the moon. I liken this vision to the pinup painted on the Enola Gay, but as a wizened old man with a flowing beard and open robes sitting on top of a glass dome, makes for an entertaining, if not blasphemous, visual. I am nothing without him, as Behemoth once sang. I heard it from a few of these individuals. I followed science and logic, but as soon as I realized that God cannot exist in this type of world, I rejected it and started discovering the truth. Another said, if God isn't real and we are simply spinning on a ball in the middle of a vast empty space, then that is cruelty to its extreme, and I couldn't live with that concept. What I understand is mostly marketing from these influencers to keep their fan bases rabid. It also means that people take their thoughts as gospel. And while I'm pretty sure I'd be stoked to have illithid masters implant a squid larva in my brain so I can become a part of the hive mind, I know it isn't going to happen. Perhaps the Emperor of Mankind was correct in his ways. This is merely observational, entertainment purposes only, of course. Now, if you excuse me, I must attend Mass for his holy right ass cheek. Old righty gets cranky if you don't recognize him with 20 plus minutes of reverent ass prayers. Thus, Baton Eton spoke, and thus he did release the observers to share any of these missives to the masses, so to they may be saved or at least giggle with this quaint nose sniff that passes for amusement. Have an ass-tastic day. His holy hams demand it.
Is this Baron Eaton? We know Baron Eton.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought the sign-off was his holy hams, and I think I mistook that. But yes, that is correct. This is Baron Eton.
Ah, Baron Eton.
Pretty
Thank
clever
you
stuff.
For all this silliness.
I don't really have much to add. I just thought it was a romp, you know.
Well, I got something to add.
Give it to us.
We've been following along this whole 3i Atlas thing for a while now, and we've got 3 pretty awesome observations of it thus far in the James Webb telescope that, Ben, you have been to before it went up into space, which
Badass.
is awesome. That thing recently took a look at it, and there's something published in Space 3 hours ago as we record, and it is talking about the chemical makeup that was discovered to be in there. Really interesting. It's got all the things that you'd expect a comet to have, primarily water, which is interesting, water ice, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and the stuff called carbonyl sulfide, which is, as space puts it, smelly. The cool thing about this comet is that it's the highest ratio of carbon dioxide to water that's ever been observed in any comet that Earth-based dwellings have seen, which makes it different, right? Doesn't make it aliens, but it sure makes it different. And if we head over to Harvard and check out what our professor has to say, who's been talking about this a whole bunch, he's lowering his chances that this thing is actually extraterrestrial intelligence. But he is noting that it's kind of weird. The last thing I read about it from him is that rather than a lot of the light source, being emitted on the back, the coma of this comet, the like tail that comets get, because that's where the off-gassing is occurring as it's flying closer and closer to the sun. And that's actually the part that's illuminated by the sun's rays. In this case, he's talking about how this sucker seems to have some kind of light source at the front of it, which sounds like headlights to me, guys.
Oh, it's a craft. Definitely a craft.
But I don't know.
I don't know either, but it's fun to think about, and we'll find out one way or another sooner or later. But huge thanks to Danny and Baron Eton, worshiper of his holy hams, for writing in. We're going to take a quick break, hear a word from our sponsor, and then come back with our final messages from you for today's listener mail.
And we have returned, but we have not returned alone. We are joined with Dan B. and a parrot named Mango that we'll recognize from earlier. And I'm still kind of on the fence about Mango, especially with our upcoming episodes on the ability to speak with animals. Please tune in for that. That's going to be wild.
This is Mango the narc parrot, right?
Yeah, stool pigeon, the soul of a stool pigeon. And this is what our pal Dan had to say. Hey, you mentioned Mango the Parrot. Blackpool is my hometown, and thanks to my unfortunate history with addiction, I know some of the people on the periphery of that case. I didn't realize it was international news. It's pretty hilarious to be caught because of your parrot saying, 2 for 25. Ha 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 ha. Just a reminder, folks, for that story, there was this huge drug bust in Blackpool over in the UK, and part of how the bust came to be, it hinges on this drug dealer's pet parrot. And the parrot was seen like playing with cash because it made the drug dealers laugh. They would teach it drug terms that would recite back to them. And then it also happily recited those terms to law enforcement. So they were able to bust up the ring because this parrot, a little bit of a Judas, kind of turned on his crew.
Judas, a Parrot.
There we go. Perfect. So now our pal Dan gives us some more context, saying the following: some more context that you may not know. Unfortunately, Blackpool is absolutely rife with addiction. We have the highest overdose rate in the United Kingdom and the highest concentration of off-licenses liquor stores per head of population. We'll pause there just for a lot of us fellow Yanks in the crowd. I'm always confused still if I'm in that part of the world and I see those stores that just say off license. What it means is they have a license to sell you booze, but only if you walk away with it. So you can't hang out at the liquor store. That's a different license, I guess. That would make it a pub license.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm too square. You guys remember that for years, like well into college, I thought package stores in the U.S. sold packages.
They still do. You just got to put some liquor in there,
I guess. But I was like, why are all these shady box places out here?
Right.
And how come no one is walking out with a box? They're just smoking.
Yeah, so many loiterers outside the box store.
Right?
Is that a law? Is that a legal thing? Like here in Georgia, or are they called that in other places, or is this like a remnant? I think we've discussed
it's
the
a
answer
remnant.
To that.
Yeah. It's a legacy thing, but also I genuinely thought that people were just waiting outside because there was a new box about to drop.
Yeah.
Like new sneakers.
100%.
So it's like, ooh, buddy, I got to get the corrugated version. Anyway, long story short.
Oh, did you guys hear about that? I don't think we talked about it on Strange News, and it kept falling off on my list. The corrugated cardboard people and the cardboard sellers, and how they created their own cartel and they've risen prices since the pandemic on all cardboard for all packaging, like all together, including what's Georgia Pacific, the big one that's near us.
Paper company.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're only one of like 7 or more companies that all just skyrocketed the price of cardboard. That's increased the prices of everything, because that includes the pieces that have to get shipped to get something assembled, right? It's crazy.
We should do an episode on the pandemic price fixing conspiracy, which is very much real.
Completely agree. Yeah. It's funny too, because I mean, even like we forget that the idea of a cartel isn't always drug related, and it's not inherently illegal, but it sure sounds shady no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, the maple syrup cartel. Check out our episode on that. That was a weird one that surprised us. I would also... I long have suspected that Atlanta restaurants who have the same type of cuisine operate in a price-fixing cartel manner, at least here in the city. I'm looking at you, everybody who makes butter chicken.
Yes. Oh, snap.
It's true. Also, I have no idea why biryani is so expensive. Probably the same deal in Blackpool. Let us know. Back to Blackpool, these are some facts that tell us the harrowing reality of the situation on the ground. Dan says, quote, we also have, in Blackpool, the lowest life expectancy at 73 years old for men. That's a full 14 years lower than the life expectancy for women in Chelsea, which is a really rich part of London. Or at least those were the statistics when I was doing a study for geography class about 15 years ago. I suspect it's only gotten worse since then. And then, Dan, you continue with some things I think a lot of us in the U.S. would be unfamiliar with. You say a lot of seaside towns in the United Kingdom are really impoverished. They used to be rich because during the Industrial Revolution, towns would close all their factories for a week for maintenance. And then the workers would hop the train to places like Blackpool. So quick little vacation, kind of like growing up in the Southeast, you might drive down to Florida, right, for a summer vacation, just a nice long weekend or something like that. So each town would have a different week. So this meant there was a steady supply of working class tourists across the entirety of summer. But then cheap flights abroad became a thing. So nobody comes to Blackpool when they can go to Benidorm in Spain for the same price. Benidorm. Shout out to you. I don't know if we'll make it there, but maybe we could do a show there because we're getting back on the road, which we'll talk about in a second. So, Dan, you say Blackpool, I think, is in a particularly bad place when it comes to heroin and crack cocaine because of its location. It's pretty close to Liverpool and Manchester, which are major centers for organized crime, particularly Liverpool, where I'm currently living. Gangs don't make money in these cities because there's too much supply and not enough demand. So instead, they go to smaller towns like Blackpool, where they can flood the market and force out any local dealers with violence. That's what happened in the Mango case. The gang wasn't based in Blackpool, as far as I know, says Dan. They were just dealing there. Anyway, sorry for the long message. I just felt compelled to say something because you guys mentioned my small hometown. We wrote back to Dan, and Dan, we're still waiting to hear some answers on questions. One of the questions that I think we've talked about a little bit in the past is how the hell do so many hard drugs make it to the United Kingdom in the first place? Like, we've been to these areas, they're very heavily surveilled, right? You can't grow large-scale coca or poppies in these climates. So how are the drugs getting in, right? They have to be paying someone off.
Boats?
Boats.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I mean, I get it, but I'm like, why? There are so many CCTV cameras. The location tracking is bonkers, even more so than here in the States. So it feels like some faction of people in power must be willfully refusing to prosecute a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, just looking the other way.
No doubt.
Yeah, I hate to sound cynical about it, but it does very much feel like that could be the case. And this also made me think of a series that we could do, maybe not for this show, or maybe it's an episode, but it's something that I think will speak to a lot of us in the audience tonight. There is such abandonment going on in rural areas now across the world, right? As more people live in cities, I feel like a lot of what sometimes is called flyover country here in the United States is being forgotten. I was in some towns in Japan recently that were ghost towns, right? Like the kind of places where there's one place where the government was going to shut down the train line and they kept it open because there is one school-age kid who still lives in that town, just one. They have to take the train to another town just to go to school. So the train is just running for that kid. I don't know what's going to happen with these massive population shifts, you guys. Like, you go to Italy, rural Italy, and you see the same thing. There's so many places that are abandoned. So my question to you all is, have you guys encountered some of these ghost towns or abandoned towns recently on a road trip or travels?
No, not so much personally, but I am aware that they exist, and I do find them fascinating and would love to explore some with y'all sometime.
Yeah, guys, I think this may have happened before. Let me know if it did. I was listening to that show Radio Rental again. It's one of my favorites on the planet. And there was a story in there about an abandoned amusement park, but not like the ones that we've heard about. You know, there are a couple famous abandoned amusement parks that were a big deal and then just kind of were left to rot. This was like a smaller, if you imagine a smaller one, just randomly in the middle of nowhere in this town that kind of had been run down. And it was a very harrowing story about some of these structures just appearing in the middle of the woods in this very rural area where there were campsites, where if you weren't in the know, you'd have no idea that there was civilization there once, and there are still structures just out in the middle of the woods, which is creepy.
I love that. I love finding staircases out in the middle of the woods.
I heard that's a bad thing.
It is a bad thing. But
you sent me a picture and a really creepy poem about one of those very things, Ben. I believe that you discovered in your wanderings, and you were responding to an odd piece of music I sent you that I was working on, and I'll never forget it. It spooked me the frick out.
I love that. I love that track you sent as well. It's very evocative. Yeah, I play it when I'm writing horror stories. But
I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to go up those, right? Or
you're not supposed to.
Okay.
I guess I should have left that cryptic pause there. But yeah, we can't wait to hear about the strange stuff you find in the woods, folks. Be safe and be respectful, of course. I've also, in my head, I've been kicking around the idea of this kind of limited series and calling it Abandoned America. And then, we could go to other places, other countries as well. But I, like I'm just eternally fascinated with these places that have become forgotten. And I don't know what will happen to them in the future. We have so many stories here in the U.S. of towns that were booming and then an industry failed, right? Like coal, for example, or an interstate was built and the districting was, let's be honest, often economically corrupt or racially based or incentivized. And then those towns die. And then, before that, the train going the wrong direction would spell doom and disaster for your town. So it's not quite stuff they don't want you to know, but it is stuff of great interest to us. And we would love to hear from you in this regard, especially if you have experience in urban exploration. What do you think? Do you guys think we can pitch accounting to just let us go off for like a month and explore these things?
Yes, because I'm seeing a giant list on Wikipedia here of stuff that's happening, or like places in Georgia alone that are like abandoned towns, neglected towns, barren sites, abandoned sites. Really interesting stuff.
AbandonedGeorgia.com, right?
Yeah, there's that. There's a ton of it.
Yeah.
There's even some stuff in Forsyth. Forsyth County is where Cumming is, where we've talked about that extensively on this show. It's where I grew up. They are listing the town that is underneath, or was once underneath, Lake Lanier there. Okay.
Yeah, there is a lot. I mean, history is a palimpsest, right? And every time you take a step, you are walking over the dead, whether that is a dead place, a dead person, a dead thing. I have taken this in a weird direction, guys. Sorry, I'm still a little bit out of it here. So we'll end on a nice letter from home. Do remember to write to us about your favorite abandoned town or ghost town facts. All right, so here's our letter from home. As a lifelong resident of Altoona, Pennsylvania, I agree. Altoona pizza is an abomination against Anunnaki and man. Dirk Lancer, time jockey. Tagline, disintegrating your ancestors for a better tomorrow.
Is this the cold topping pizza? What are we talking here?
This is, I believe it was Matt, you mentioned Altoona pizza when we were talking. Yeah, because we were talking about Pittsburgh pizza. Altoona style pizza is
dough. A little bit, but it's always in a square. That's very important. Has to be a square.
And the cheese approach, it's not mozzarella or anything like that. It's American cheese, like straight up Kraft singles.
Yes.
And they just throw it on at the end.
Yeah, there's a little slice of green pepper usually underneath that cheese, and maybe even some pepperoni if you're nasty, but mostly salami. That's it. Salami.
That sounds like something that you'd see on like a meme page, like Boys Who Cook. It's just...
or the subreddit, the unendingly inspiring subreddit, shitty food porn, or in various freshman dorms of your local weed dealer, right?
Yeah. Sometimes all you got's a Kraft single and, something you would consider dough.
All you've got is a few bong rips, some craft singles, and a dream. You know?
That's right. That's right.
That's all it takes, y'all. That's all it takes.
That's all it takes is the dream, the hope, the promise of abandoned towns, weird pizza, alien craft. Oh man, Tricorders, Cryptid Hunters. All this stuff and more. We cannot wait to hear from you folks. Thank you, as always, so much for tuning in. Thanks to our super producer, Dylan, the Tennessee pal Fagan. Find us on the telephones. Send us an email for a random fact, or find us on the internet.
Oh boy, can you ever do those things on the internet? You can find us at the Handle Conspiracy Stuff, where we exist on Facebook with our Facebook group. Here's Where It Gets Crazy on X, FKA, Twitter, and on YouTube with video content for your perusing enjoyment on Instagram and TikTok. However, we're Conspiracy Stuff Show, and there's more.
Yes, be like Phlounder, be like Chef Ben several times a week. Call 1-833-STDWYTK. When you call in, it's a voicemail system. You've got 3 minutes. Give yourself a cool nickname and let us know within the message if we can use your name and message on the air. If you'd like to send us words, perhaps links, maybe even attachments, why not send us a good old-fashioned email? We are
The entities that read each piece of correspondence we receive. Be well aware, yet unafraid. Sometimes the void writes back. And by the way, quick plug here at the end, folks. If you, like so many other folks, have written into us about the situation in D.C., then you may be interested in learning about similar unrest in times past, such as the show Let's Start a Coup, which is a deep dive into the life of a real pill named Smedley Butler, who may just have saved American democracy. Conspiracy at iHeartRadio.com.
Stuff They Don't Want You to Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.